Hi, I'm Alicia and this is What's Cooking. Today we're gonna make 3 super dips for your next Super Bowl party. So let's get started. First in our lineup is our Mexican spinach dip. We're gonna start off with our cream cheese. This is gonna be a super simple dip. It requires just a handful of ingredients. You're gonna mix it all in one bowl and then bake it. I've got sour cream, some Rotel. All the measurements will be in our description box below. So now I'm just gonna break up the cream cheese a little bit. It doesn't need to be creamed. It's nice to have some pockets of cream cheese. So now I've got some spices. I have cumin and chili powder. Just gonna give those a stir. And then we've got cheese. Incorporate all those spices. And then we're gonna add our chopped spinach. Okay. Now we're just gonna stir all this in. So this recipe, you can also use a bag of frozen spinach. If you do it that way, you're gonna want to thaw the spinach and then strain all that juice out before adding it into this step. It might look like a lot of spinach, but it blends nicely with all the cheese and the cream cheese and everything. It'll cook down. And then I'm just gonna smooth it all out, and then we're gonna pop it in the oven and bake it. All right, so now that we just finished our Mexican spinach dip, we're gonna get started on our artichoke dip. We're gonna start off with our cream cheese. I'm gonna add our mayonnaise. We're gonna cream these together, make it really nice and smooth. So I like to use a mixer because you can see breaking it up, even with the mixer, it's still a little chunky. I mean, once you bake it, it'll be fine. So we're gonna keep mixing. And then when we're done with this dip, we'll put both of the artichoke dip and the Mexican spinach dip in the oven at the same time. All right, so I mixed this for about a minute or two, and now I'm going to add Parmesan. You can use the freshly grated stuff, but we just use the can of Parmesan. I've got a can of artichoke. Strain it and then squeeze the artichokes out to get all that moisture out. Otherwise it makes it a little too runny and you don't want a runny dip. And then you're going to get a sharp knife and you're gonna chop these guys up into little tiny pieces. All right, and then we're just gonna stir this up. Got the artichokes all stirred in. Add in the Ortega chilies. We're gonna give this a stir just till it's all incorporated. Then we're gonna put this in our baking dish. So this dip brings back memories. 1999, Christmas Eve. I bring my husband home to meet the family for the first time. All the girls take the kids out to look at Christmas lights. So all the guys stayed back at the house. So of course, we leave him with my uncles and my stepdad. He's not a big dip person. Actually, he doesn't like any dips except for queso. They're prodding him and pressuring him to eat this artichoke dip. And he does it the most slick ways possible, like just dips the chip in straight in and out, doesn't even get any dip on the chip, and eats it just to make them think that, okay, he ate the dip. So this dip has been around for a long time. You figure 23 years or so? So it's been a keeper. We've got our Mexican spinach dip and our artichoke dip, and we're gonna pop these in the oven until they're nice and hot and bubbly. All right. And last but not least is going to be our street corn dip. So this is the third in our Super Bowl super dip. We're going to start by mixing up some ingredients. And again, we're going to use a hand mixer. We're going to start off with some mayonnaise, our sour cream, cream cheese. Again, this is softened. We are just blending all these together to make it nice and smooth and creamy. And then we're going to add our spices. We have salt, pepper, cumin, and chili powder. Now that this is creamed together, we're going to set this to the side, and now we're going to start cooking our corn. So to my skillet, I'm going to add butter, and we're going to add our chopped jalapenos. Jalapenos. At least that's what I like to call them. Every time I say jalapenos, people just look at me funny. All right, so we're going to cook these for a couple of minutes. Soften those up. We're not baking this dip, so that's why we're cooking down our jalapenos. So we don't want crunchy jalapenos, kind of like them soft. So just for a few minutes in that butter. Saute them about a minute or two. I'm gonna add some garlic to it. Smells so good. Saute that for another minute or two, and then we're gonna add our corn. I'm using frozen corn, but you can use canned corn. You're just gonna wanna drain it really good. And if you're feeling extra fancy, if you already have the grill going, roast around 6 or 7 ears of corn, cut the kernels off, then you can do it that way too. It looks fun. I mean, why eat boring food? They say eat the rainbow. This just looks festive. It looks fun. Now, if you don't like vegetables and too much color, then it probably doesn't look good to you at all, but I think it looks pretty. You're gonna cook the corn 5 to 10 minutes, depending if it's frozen or canned corn. If you're gonna use the corn from the grill, then really you only need to saute the jalapenos and the garlic. Put the corn in here just for a little bit because you've already got it all warmed up and cooked. That would be the most authentic way, is grilling it on the grill and cutting it off the cob. All right, so this looks good. It's all mixed together. So now we're going to turn it off, and we're gonna add it to our cream mixture that we did earlier. All right, so we've added the corn. We're just gonna give this a gentle little stir. We're gonna add some cotija cheese, as well as some cilantro. Mix that up, and then we're gonna put in our casserole dish and garnish it with some more cotija cheese and cilantro. This is our Mexican street corn super dip. That's good. It's great cold. It's got a freshness from the corn. The cilantro adds that little flair that it does, but not too much. The cotija gives it that authentic flavor. The spices in it, the jalapenos give it that nice spice, that little kick that you want. It just comes together really well, tastes great. I'm enjoying it with some Frito scoops or whatever, but tortilla chips will work well also. Our dips are looking good. With our spinach dip, we're just gonna sprinkle it with some more cheese, because why not? Put that back in the oven, let that melt, and it'll be ready. This is our artichoke dip. It came out the oven nice and bubbly. So I prefer to eat it warm. You could definitely eat it cold. As you saw with all 3 of our dishes, that the time it took us to make the first one and the second one, we could pop those in the oven while we're cooking the last one, and then they're all done about the same time, so they're ready for game day. All right, dip is cooled off enough. So yum. Creamy. This is a good dip. It's not spicy, so if you don't like spice, this is a great go-to dip for you. The Ortega chilies give it a nice little added flavor. I hope you like it as well. So if you give it a try, let us know. Okay, and there you have it. This is our Mexican spinach dip. It's hot and bubbly, straight out the oven. You're gonna want to let that cool a little bit before you eat it. This is one of my favorites. I've been making it for years, and you just can't go wrong any time of year eating this. So whether it's Super Bowl or any kind of a party, or you just want to watch a movie and eat something, like this is your go-to. Make all of the components, put it in the casserole dish, put it in the fridge, and not bake it yet. And then just pull it out if you want it hot and bubbly right before, your party. Or you can bake it off and everything and then just reheat it. Look at all that cheese and flavor. Look at that. Now that's a cheese pull. Cheese pull made me happy even before I took a bite. Super yummy. Lots of good flavor. Love the cheese with all the flavor in the rotel. It works really good together. And if you get any of those pockets of the cream cheese, like right here, that's yum. And there you have it, 3 super dips for your next Super Bowl party, or any occasion for that matter. So whether you like artichoke, spinach, or street corn, there's a dip for everybody. And all the recipes for these 3 dips are gonna be in our description box below. And if you need a nice, warm, cozy meal for a cold night, check out our soups, and they're in our playlist. Thanks for watching.